It's time for the shop report with
Welcome to the Shop Report special presentation of After Dark. Of course, I'm your host, none other than Double J, and I got the guy to my left, your right, none other than the DOC.
Yo.
What's happening, man? There's a lot going on.
Yeah, a lot of upsets going on. Like, golly. Bama went down. Colorado went down. It's rough, man. This has
Dude,
been a rough week for college football.
Unbelievable. Like, how we just talked about this like ad nauseum on Wednesday. And you, of course, pointed out like, hey, this thing is not happening for Colorado.
It's not.
So, of course, definitely making sure that point is emphasized first and foremost, because even Barbershop Jay was like, Doc needs to come on the show and say that. And it's like, well, here he is. So then in addition to that, what do you, all right. So just to cover it, just because of course the coach is always going to say something, but Indiana loses to Ohio State.
As expected.
Because of all of the things you just pointed out, which is all of the other losses that took place. Do they still find a way in?
Indiana?
Mm-hmm.
Well, they're a one-loss team, so I don't see why not. You can't put a 2-loss team or a 3-loss team above them. Like if Alabama's out, they got to be in because Alabama just lost, so I bet not see them in nobody's top 12. Nowhere. They now have 3 losses. It is not very many 3-loss teams that I feel should get in. They are one of them that should. Honestly, I don't think any 3-loss team should get in. We have at least 12 teams with 2 losses or less. So I feel like those guys should get in overall. Like Georgia, they're in. Ohio State, they're in. Like Texas, people like that, they're in. But Alabama, Colorado, they're done for. Indiana, I keep them in there, but I drop them down to like a 9 or a 10 because they were 5. I drop them down to like 10 now.
It's sounding more and more like my dark horse that I said on Wednesday, which of course is pun intended there, of SMU, who, again, I always point out when a booster was being like, this is Turbo Man sidekick booster being interviewed, $125 million in 24 hours for their football program. Like, in theory, they could have threw a bag at Bryce Underwood.
They could have, but that wasn't what. Maybe that's not their priority right now. Like Michigan needs a quarterback. That's top priority. So I'm pretty sure if somebody matched whatever they set, they would have raised the bar and raised just as much money. It just depends on what your priority is. Their priority, obviously, ain't a quarterback. So I don't see wasting money on somebody that's not my top priority. Like maybe a running back or a lineman or a receiver, something like that. That might be what they're trying to prioritize right now.
I think they may crash the party. We almost had a few slip-ups, despite as much turmoil. As you mentioned, Boise State barely survives versus Wyoming.
But they keep their 12 rank and they into the playoffs.
There you go. I can't
Long-
argue that.
As long as they don't lose, I don't see them going lower. But with higher seeds losing, I do see them going up maybe a little bit. I see them maybe being like 11 or
That's
9 or
crazy.
10 or maybe even a 7 at the best.
Does this do anything for you as it pertains to Travis Hunter and the Heisman?
No, he still had 2 tutties today. Like, come on now. It's not his fault the rest of his team played like crap. Him and Shador played their butts off. That's all they had out there tonight. That's it. Shador threw for 3. 2 of them was to Travis. So if anything, that just shows that I deserve the Heisman because even with my team losing, I'm still out here showing out. It just shows that Colorado is not as a solid team as people thought they were. They don't have it. They don't have the luxury of when my stars are not playing well, the rest of the team can pick up the pieces. Because obviously, when the stars are
Mhm.
playing well and the rest of the team plays like crap, they lose.
Does it seem weird to you? Like
They need more star power over there.
that's where I'm going with it. It's like we know Shador, we know Travis, but
Outside of them, who they got Horn, but he been hurt on and off. Like who else do they have?
that's what's really weird to me is that okay, it's year 2 prime, and I know he just got another quarterback, but
Yeah, this number 2 prospect in the whole nation.
he's not really portal prime either. So where's the like? I mean, it just seems like the rest of those non-skilled positions are somewhat underwhelming.
They are. They most definitely need better recruit because once they lose Travis and Shador next year, they not going no 8-3. I'm sorry, that's not the case. Their defense is real
Mm.
suspect, but they got Travis Hunter to help them out. Then that offense is suspect, but they had Travis Hunter that comes through often because that's who Shador looks for. When it's third and fourth down situations, who do he look for? First, Travis. That's
Mm.
his number 1 target. Then you got I forgot what the other receiver's name was. Is it Williams? I can't think of his name. But the number 2, I don't think he's gonna be there next year either. So now you're losing your starting quarterback, your star defensive and wide receiver. You're losing another star receiver. Who do you have to replace them with?
So they're currently ranked 66th in the recruiting rankings. They have 5 4 stars and 6 threes and nothing else.
Whew. See what I'm saying?
Wait a minute, that quarterback wasn't a 5 star? He had to have been
He a
if he was
4 star.
the second best quarterback is only a 4.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wester, that's his name. I've been calling him
Hmm.
Williams. Wester, that's his next best target, but outside of him.
I mean, I just want to point this out. Like I said, 66, right? So listen to the teams that are ranked higher than them. Obviously, Indiana, which consists of 23 stars and 1 4.
Huh?
Okay, Arizona State, just
They got
literally
one
behind
four
me,
star.
basically. Mm-hmm. 1. Um, Minnesota, Virginia Tech, gobble gobble, set time of the year. BYU.
Who
But
just also lost today?
how about some outliers like Georgia State?
What is their recruiting classes looking like?
21 3 stars.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
That
Georgia
makes me
State.
question this whole star ranking thing though, because how can your team be that low or unranked at all, and you got all these 3 and how these stars don't mean nothing now, man? Because you got teams like you said, the Indiana's they got 1 3 star, and everybody else is probably like a 2 star, 1 star, half star, but they still rank better than this school you said has 3 star, 4 star. Like, what makes them a 3 or a 4 star? Like, what is their strength of schedule? Who are they playing? Because There's no way you not even ranked and you have a losing record and you got a bunch of 3 and 4 stars. There's no way that should be, man. No way. Ain't no way.
No argument here because I mean, even Northwestern. Okay, come on, stop. Like
Or even Northern Illinois. Like,
what is going on? That's what I mean. Like he got 2 guys, right? And remember all the controversy that surrounded Travis Hunter originally with the FSU stuff. So I just look at that and it's like I was hoping year 3 with him in Colorado potentially, or if he would have moved, I would have understood, especially looking at something like that. But with the QB, that was the thing. That was literally Barbershop Jay's what followed with the image of that quarterback committing was Prime's going nowhere. As far as like to the Cowboys or just even there were rumors to the SEC.
he ain't going nowhere. But he also said a long time ago, before he even got to Colorado, he do want to get to one of those bigger teams, but you have there's levels to it. You have to follow the steps. He started off at Jackson State. He wanted to show, hey, I can do it. Once he showed he can do it, it's kind of like a prove it. Now he's at Colorado. Another prove it. Prove it you can do it here. Next step, he might jump to a SEC or a bigger school because that was always his plan, and he laid it out a long time ago. These are the steps I have to take in order to get to where I want to go. He took the first step from Jackson State to Colorado. Now, once Colorado's over with, he taking the next step to a bigger school, maybe like a SEC. I don't know where, or maybe even a Big Ten school, because those are the two, in my opinion, the two toughest division conferences here is the SEC and the Big Ten. I don't see nobody tougher than them right now. So I don't know. Maybe he does jump to a ACC or a SEC or a Big Ten, but that won't be for another few years. He still has to prove, hey, I can do something here in Buffalo. He got a bowl game. He win a bowl game, I see him coming back for another few years. But if they don't win their bowl game, I see him another 1, maybe 2 years, and he's skating. He proved I can get you there. I can get you to the chip. I proved I'm good enough coach to do that. Now, can you imagine him with like actual like good recruits from like how Alabama gets their recruits, or as much as I hate to say it, Ohio State, how they get recruits? If you can get to a school that's getting high ranked recruits like that, he gonna be a dangerous coach in college. I don't see him going to the NFL. He said he's not interested in teaching a bunch of grown men how to. He don't want to do it. He rather teach young men how to go about their lives and what to do after college and all that kind of stuff, which is understandable because I mean the NFL ain't nothing but a bunch of grown divas. Like, what you gonna tell this grown man that's making millions of dollars? They're not gonna learn. It's hit or miss in the NFL. College, they gonna listen because they're younger. They're trying to develop, and that's what he wants to do. He wants to develop players for the next level. So I see him staying in college for a few years. Maybe he'll go to the NFL. He gets the opportunity to coach his son. But if that opportunity don't happen, he stays in college.
Did you see the interview with Ice Cube and him and the exchange that they had? Since you brought kind of that,
Yeah, that's where I got it from. He said if Dallas takes his son, he'll go coach in Dallas with his son.
So first of all, like, okay, so I'm just for the record, I'm not talking about LeBron or anything he's doing or has done. I feel like would you do the same thing, or would you not want to do, especially given what the first round with quarterbacks has been? Look what Daniel Jones literally what just happened to him.
They let him go. Like they cut. I mean, honestly, they should have been let Daniel Jones go and got them a quarterback this year. This should have been the year that the Giants went and looked for a quarterback in that draft, because it was a pretty good draft class this year. But next year, the draft class sucks with quarterbacks, bro. They are horrible. Like, it's bad. Like, outside of Shador, Cam Ward, and I forgot what the quarterback's name was from Oregon. Who you really looking at? I mean, you got the quarterback from Bama, but he's decent. He's not. I'm not finna waste my top 5 draft pick on him. Top 10 draft. I'm not. He's the first rounder, but not top 5. Then you got who is it? My man's from Ohio State. Then you got Carson Beck, like they're also in the draft, but they not like quarterbacks that stand out to you that say, "Hey, that's my franchise quarterback." They're good in college, but they don't scream franchise quarterback. That's why I said this draft for quarterbacks are pretty rough. After those first like 3 or 4 go, that's it. The rest of the quarterbacks, there ain't no guarantee they're gonna be starters.
Did you happen to see any of the footage from, I don't know if it was Hard Knocks, I can't remember, with the Giants general manager and how he handled the Saquon Barkley stuff in the offseason?
No, I didn't see that.
All right, so I'll put it to you this way. It starts with the conversation with Saquon there. Basically, then he's gone. They have a number, okay? Like they know the number he's looking for. They know the number they've offered. Okay, this sounds very Orlando Magic and Shaq.
Yeah.
And the thing is, then they asked like the kid, like his children are in the office. And the kids are like, well, no, we like him. Now it's getting to kind of crunch time with this. You fast forward, and other members of the front office are in this office and saying, they have this weird confidence, like, well, we can call him and we know where the number is. And they're like, have you heard anything? And this is now the owner.
Yeah.
And the owner pretty much said, like, I would hate to see, I'm going to have a hard time sleeping, is the verbiage he used. Okay, first of all, like, if your other half or your superior at your job said to you, I'm going to have a hard time sleeping if you do not do this, how do you think you're going to approach that? Do you think you're going to just, I know what I have to do, or I know, like,
this is one of them situations though where he's better off doing exactly what he did. Like, I'm sorry you can't sleep, but if you can't meet my requirements, then I have to go elsewhere.
Here's the thing though, and this is why, where I'm going with all of this is the same guy that said, I'm going to pay Daniel Jones. Now, sure,
he was not the answer. Why would you pay Daniel Jones when clearly your breadwinner here, your workhorse, is Saquon?
There was enough data that I hate to say it, like, I would not be a player's general manager because I'm fixated on numbers and I'm taking the human out of the equation. And I'm just simply saying these particular numbers stated with Saquon Barkley on the field, here's how you do. Without them, here's how you do. And they couldn't have been further apart. So here's what I would have paid you with him, but because I need him too, this is what I'm willing to do. And then the answer at that point would have been, if he would have said, no, I could have lived without Daniel Jones. I can't live. And this is why it's a quarterback driven. This is what happens.
But it's slowly starting to not be quarterback driven anymore because
what?
The quality of quarterbacks aren't what they used to be anymore. The league is changing, bro. You're not so quarterback dependent anymore. At least that's just how I see it. Like you don't need a Swiss Army knife at quarterback no more. As long as you got you a good running back, a decent pair of receivers, you look at Jared Goff. He's not the most mobile of quarterbacks, but he's a precision pocket master. And look what the Lions are doing. So yeah, I don't need a Daniel Jones. I can just get me another what they say, plug and play. Grab me one out the draft, plug him in, see how I do. If not, I go get a veteran like Flacco, or look at Jameis Winston. Go get a veteran somewhere, plug and play him in till I can draft somebody else, or let you learn from them and then you get your shine. And that's how it's going. Because look at Jameis. Got the dub last week in the snow. Nobody expected them to win.
That's right.
Nobody.
Right. What does he say? Eat the W's?
Yeah, eat the W's. And look at Joe Flacco. Comes in eating chips, drinking beer, watching football on TV, gets a call, takes the Cleveland Browns through the playoffs. Again, plug and play. As long as you have a good enough team, you can pretty much plug any quarterback into anybody's system, as long as that system is great.
And that's the interesting thing, because as we talk about this week's fantasy matchups as well, obviously a lot of shadow coverage across the board, but obviously the Colts made a change, and now so did the Giants, right? Those same two franchises that you pointed out. Going back to Anthony Richardson against your Lions, what do you think?
He gonna be tapping that helmet again. Like, we have a defense that punishes offenses. Like, you seen when he tapped out last time, his body couldn't take it. He was getting hit. He was tired of running for his life. What you think the Lions about to make him do? If he don't tap, they get blew out. Like, you gonna need a fresh pair of old legs in there after a while. The Lions are gonna abuse the Colts tomorrow. Anthony Richardson ain't gonna have time to throw the ball. He's gonna get frustrated, like a lot of young quarterbacks do that haven't quite figured out the game yet. Once we get in his head, it's a wrap. I guarantee you, by the fourth quarter, Joe Flacco will be in the game.
Oh, you're going that far?
Yeah, that's how I'm looking at it. Like, you
So-
see, he gave up on his team, bro. Like, a quarterback that gives up on their team when you play a tough defense like that, it ain't even got to be the Lions. If you play any tough punishing defense like that, he either gonna fold like fresh laundry or he gonna tap.
Gibby commenting, he said, "Yo, it's Doc. Where Sleepy Gully go?"
He with the Sandman right now.
Yeah, right. Literally, cue the song. Like,
Mr. Sandman. Like, right now, that's where Gully at, having a picnic with Mr. Sandman. What's good, Gibby?
yo,
How the fantasy squad doing over there?
Well, it's interesting you said that, Gibby. I'm sure we'll refresh our memory, but when we talked briefly on Monday, he wasn't on the show that's last Saturday, and it went south for Gibby. So definitely tap in. We are here. Doc is back, and let us know what you're thinking as well. Some shadow matchups quickly that I'll point out that to avoid. Garrett Wilson versus Pat Surtain. Simply put, let's see, like Pat Surtain in general would be the one that I would want to just avoid as a whole. So keep me, I'm good without that in my life. So just keep that in mind. Not necessarily Garrett Wilson, but just in general, Pat Surtain is the guy on the Broncos side.
Yo, if you got Bo Nix, start him this week. I got him out the waiver wire. I was gonna start him, but Patrick Mahomes versus Carolina is the matchup I'm probably gonna go with. Not at this point. I'm gonna use Bo for trade value.
So Gibby saying, "Help me out this week, fam." Here we go.
What you got? What you got?
Yeah. All right, Gibby. Yeah, definitely remind us. So this is by Mageddon right now. Doc, how are you handling by Mageddon? You're very calm and comfy right now. So I'm a little bothered by that. Dude,
I'm sitting at number two in my league right now. I'm great.
So first of all, all right. So again, guys, I am on location. So I'm in Arizona. It's 9:45. Yeah, I'm still on Eastern time, and believe me, my flight is at in 6 hours. So it's not going to be fun. We have to nail this now with everybody's picks. Simply put, I have Wi-Fi access in the plane, I guess. All right. So it's not the end of the world. That's the anxiety of flying, I guess. You go through everything.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, if you would have said something, I'm someone that, at least would have told you where we were for the soccer stuff for sure. Actually went by Arizona State. You would have probably
My campus is
that's a
beautiful.
beverage from the other place.
Never been, but I've seen it on TV.
A lot of sights.
Yeah.
A lot of things to see. Mountains.
Hey, he picked up Bo. I got Bo too, bro.
I did, and
That was a good
I
pickup. Bo
dropped
was
it.
a good pickup. Why would you do that? They
Dude,
got
it
Vegas
was
this week.
early. It was early,
Bro,
and I
Bo
thought I had
Nix,
time.
Bo Nix has been going off lately. Have you seen his stats? He got 56 points last game. The game before that, 38. The game before that, 36. The game before that, 57. Like he's been going off, bro.
See, I didn't know it was to that extent.
Yeah, Bo Nix has been going off. Like Givey got a good I picked him up off the waiver wire this week, so Givey, that was a good pick there.
So wait a minute, you got Bo Nix this week?
Yeah, I got Bo Nix this week. I also have Patrick Mahomes. It's a toss-up. I don't know who to start, but Patrick is at Carolina, so I might start Patrick this week. I also have Tua. So I got 3 quarterbacks I could start. I got Tua, Bo, and Pat. But I
So
picked up Bo, like I said, just in case, or like if I needed some trades, he's trade value.
mhm.
I also have Jacoby Myers. That's also some trade value I could throw in there. Got Juwan Jennings. I mean,
Yes, and
Jameson Williams. I got him
I'm
too.
stopping everyone right now. Okay, I sent it in the Discord, but if you were watching last Saturday, the very first name that came out of my mouth was Juwan Jennings. The first, like, there was nothing else. I said a name like Juwan Jennings, and dude went off.
I got him out the waiver wire. I had to because Ayuk is out. All he got is Debo and CMC and Jennings now.
Oh wow.
And if Debo's hamstring get to bother him like it always do,
Mm.
who you think he gonna target? CMC and Juwan. So either way it goes, you getting at least 10 to 15 points from Juwan. That's not bad for those quick fillers. That's a good flex.
So Givey saying obviously he picked up Bo. Someone also dropped Otten for probably again similar bye week issue with Tampa last week.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's saying Cade Otten or Mark Andrews. Meanwhile, Cade Cunningham did not play tonight.
That's
another
horrible.
story, another day. But you saw a lot of things at Arizona State. Full transparency, those calendars that they sell, this was the first time in my life that I've ever seen like it's like, oh, that's the person in the picture. Other than you, of course. Anyway, so yeah, back to Givey's thing.
I
Otten
say
or Andrew?
start Otten. Looking at the scores, Otten every week has been better than Mark Andrews, except for like 2 weeks.
At the Giants, who are awful.
Yeah. Plus, Andrews has to share the ball a lot. It's too much sharing going on.
Wait a second. Isn't whoa, no, wait.
Yeah, Andrews has to share the ball a lot. If you look at Otten's stats outside of them first 3 weeks that he played horribly, it's been 11, 7, 9, 18, 29, 21. Like he's been balling.
Remind me, how did Mike Gesicki do against
the Giants?
No, against the Chargers last Sunday night.
He did decent. Yeah, he did decent. I'm trying to pull up his stats now. You said against who now? He balled out versus Vegas. He had 27 points. He balled out versus Vegas. But every other week has been horrible. 7 points, 12, 1, 5, 0.1, 8.7, 4.8. Like he's not consistent enough for me to want to start him. Not gonna lie.
So Mike Gesicki for the Bengals against these same Chargers. that Mark Andrews is going against had a 0, dude. 2 targets and was shut out. So very, very easy decision for me. Well, I'm going to get to this comment here with it. Okay. So he's asking about the Giants have the best tight end defense in the league.
Yeah, but they're also horrible.
That's the thing. Offensively,
You got Andrews versus the Chargers. Well, if you worried about the Giants' tight end defense and you want to play it safe, I say start Andrews. Because I mean, Andrews on Andrews. He's always gonna get his targets. He's gonna get his fair share of points. So I mean, if you want to be safe, I say Andrews. But if you want to take a risk that should pay off, because Otten is one of Baker Mayfield's favorite targets. If you want to take a risk, I go Otten. But if you want to be safe, I do Andrews. His flex is not great this week.
oof.
I say
He's not
start
kidding.
Bucky. Because the Giants' run defense is horrible. So if we gonna do something, I say put Bucky out there. I'm a Bucky Irving fan, and he has not disappointed. So if we gonna do if it's out of DJ Moore and Dowell, I don't know how to pronounce his last name.
Yeah, Uncle Rico Dowdle.
I'm going Bucky for sure.
I'm trying to find him. Let's see.
You're right. High risk, high reward. You're right. Well, I go Otten in. I go Otten. Because without
Well, you know, the
Godwin being
bigger
there,
threat for the Otten thing, to me, is Mike Evans.
yeah, but you know Baker Mayfield loves his tight end.
That's what I'm hoping, is that the focus being on Mike Evans and
It opens up the middle of the field for Otten. For
right.
those quick check downs. Like, I'm not saying Evans not gonna get his fair share. He's gonna get his fair share of targets. But I feel like every now and again, when things start to get hectic, which they probably will, they're gonna use him as a decoy. They're gonna let him release and go downfield. You're gonna draw the safety up top with the corner, and then you got the whole middle of the field open because you got Bucky drawing your linebackers' attention. Now you got the middle of the field open for this tight end to do a nice little slip screen, or he's wide open in the middle of the field for that quick check down for a first down. Like, you gonna get those points off of Otten.
Do you like the idea, though, of playing 2 from the same team? What I'm looking at now
I
is,
do it all the time.
what I'm trying to find, though, is there it is, the spread and the over under of this game. It's only 40. So we're talking 4 touchdowns total between both teams. I think Tyrone Tracy finds a way into the end zone on the Giants side. I mean, we've seen the magic once.
Go Bucky. I know. I mean, I get it. It's 2 players from the same team, but at the same time, it's 2 players on the same team that often go off at the same time. Like, you getting points no matter what, bro. Like, it's guaranteed points. If you throw into your tight end, boom, you got points from your tight end. If you throw into your running back, boom, you got points off your running back. I do it all the time. Like last season, I had Amon Ra. Actually, I played like 3 different players from the same team. I had Amon Ra, Gibbs, and Laporta, and I used to start them on the same team every week, and I used to go off every week. So I'm a fan of starting players that play on the same team, and it only comes back to bite you in the butt when it's a bye week when everybody's sitting on the bench.
Well, that's a good point.
That's the only time it comes back to bite you in the butt. But other than that, when you got games like this where you know your tight end is gonna go off, you know this run defense sucks, so your run is gonna go off. Why not start them both? Why not? Why risk not getting as many points because Andrew is gonna share the ball with Likely
Do we think
and
how many?
Flowers and Derrick Henry? Like it's no longer just Andrews over there anymore, man. That's why his targets have gone down. That's why his point production has gone down. He got more. There's more weapons over there. He's no longer considered that main weapon.
This is where I need you to game script this a little bit for me, where it and
See,
because
Bucky only had 2 bad games. Gibby, I'm telling you right now, bro. Start Bucky. I'm a Bucky fan. Start Bucky. Jared Goff went off last week. He had 56 points last week. I should have tried to get him out the waiver wire, but this week he's already gone. So I missed that one.
well, that I nearly lost because of that very same thing, because of all the people that you're referring to, Givy, that like when I think Doc, I text you, I was like, I need JMO to stop. Like, why are these guys still out there?
But I told you he was gonna end up winning because once you got to that last leg of your games, all he had was a kicker. He was only 7 points behind. I'm like, you ain't got nothing to worry about, but you barely gonna win that mug.
Well, see, and that's the issue now, is that I don't have Joe Burrow, but I'm looking at, let's see, Andrews now. I'm still stuck on this. A risky option for in week 12. Oh, he's sharing time again. Oh no. That's right. Yep, and he already got cut down to 61% of the snaps, dude. And guess how many points he got now, albeit it's Pittsburgh. But that's why I'm saying I do not like Mark Andrews at all. I'd rather roll the dice with Mike Evans and just sharing targets that way.
I told you, Evans and Otten, bro. Andrews got too many people that they're gonna share that ball with. Way too many. That's why he's not getting the targets he used to get no more. Then you have Likely, who's turning out to be better of a tight end than I thought he was going to be. Like, Likely's been showing out, especially when Andrews got hurt. Likely was all over the field. And I'm like, that's going to hurt Andrews' production when he comes back, because now they see we don't have to just depend on him anymore. We actually have another tight end that's a little bit faster.
So my thing is this: I'm leaning, and I really just, I don't really care for the guy, and so I'm making that very clear. Like, I'm leaning Rico Dowdle,
Really?
and dude, Givy, is it a PPR or not? Because that matters in all of this.
If it's a touchdown-driven league, yeah, that's really what's going to matter. I mean, even if it is a touchdown-driven league, Otten would be the better choice because they use him a lot in the red zone.
Givy, the reason I won last week was, as Doc can attest to, was the kicker. Obviously, kickers are given yards like
Boswell had 40-something points.
Yeah.
Like, God, dog. I'm glad I didn't have to play anybody with Boswell. Because they kicker alone won the game for him. Like, that's it. Your kicker won for you.
Remember, this is the same one where I was irate last Saturday talking about, I listened to, some jackal at 7:45 at night on, talking about, I like Terry McLaurin in this matchup. And I'm like, I really don't. But you know what? He seems to be really sure of this. And Scary Terry was very scary.
Yeah.
So I lesson learned on this on my end. But if seriously,
Yeah.
I love it.
Fantasy's been real sketchy for me this year.
What are you worried about?
Man, just players getting hurt. Like one game, like I said, I had Debo starting, and the next minute he's out for the rest of the game. And then I had Kenneth Walker in one game, and the next thing you know, he's out because I forgot what he went out for. Either his knee or his hamstring. One of the games he started, he didn't finish. Debo, another one that started, didn't finish. I drafted a lot of players this year that start but don't finish. That's how I ended up losing the 3 games I lost. Players started, didn't finish, or went out early, or just didn't get used at all that game because they were coming back from injury. And it's like, what is going on?
Yeah, and that's a good point. So he's talking about the Houston kicker that I was playing against. He just didn't have the yardage in our league, thankfully. Because that dude just is money over 50 yards. It's like the Monstars, and he took Justin Tucker's talent from over 50.
Hell, I got Justin Tucker this year as a kicker, and he upset me. 2 weeks ago he missed 2 field goals like back to back. Like at one point it said I had -2 points for Justin Tucker, and that's unheard of. -2 points for your kicker. He finished with 4 total, but he had to dig himself out the hole, bro. I literally had -2 points. I ended up winning that game. Thank God my kicker didn't make or break me that day, but. Could you imagine if you lose by those -2 points that your kicker gets you?
I would lose my mind.
I mean, luckily for me, like I said, he finished with 4 overall, but still, you went backwards before you could go forwards. Like that's unheard of. Like Justin Tucker don't miss, bro. He's been having a rough year this year.
I'm actually kind of concerned for him because I think he missed another one recently too, where it just seems like now it's more than just like a one-off bad game.
Yeah, it's happening too consistently. Like this is unreal.
Oh, you see what Gibby's saying? He said when K9 went out, when Walker went out, he had 20 points.
No, I'm not talking about that game. I'm not talking about that game.
40 points. Gibby, is yours standard or PPR? Because that actually matters even with what I was saying with if I would, to Doc's point about Bucky or not.
PPR, the touchdown-driven league, right?
No, that would be standard.
Yeah, okay. I'll play in standard leagues. Yeah, I'm all standard leagues over here. We all touchdown dependent over in this, John. That's why I hit the waiver wire so much.
He had 21 before the bye week against San Francisco. And only 3 catches. What I'm trying to gauge is between him and Rachaad White, like what is really making the difference in like the scheme.
I like Rachaad White. When does Pacheco come back?
Potentially this week, but because of the matchup, half-point PPR. Okay. So looking at these two, you know what? Let's see what Vegas thinks between them. Because I'm telling you now, that probably could be, if you could really figure out the scheme of this team, you'd be able to actually make a lot off of them. They have Bucky Irving's over-under on his rushing props just for attempts at 11.5, and they have Rachaad White's at 8.5. So again, the last game, Rachaad White had 16 carries. They cut that number in half.
I forgot Rachaad White. Let me see.
But Bucky's over-under. See, there's something that Vegas. This is why I'm going to go ahead and say it really is. Let's see where Rico Dowdles is. That's going to be the difference for me.
Remember, even with Bucky coming, with Rachaad White coming back, Bucky's still scoring 17 and 20 points.
Oh, 100.
Well, at least in my league, he is. In my league, he's still getting points. He's only had 1, 2, 3 bad games. Like,
Well, what I'm going with here, because they have his total yardage for rushing and receiving at 70.5. Meanwhile, Rashad White's is at 59.5. So there is something scheme wise that has Vegas identifying. This was what I was trying to figure out. Is basically what type of game script favors one versus the other, because at one point it really felt like a hot potato, and then not even a hot hand. For anybody with Denver running back shares knows exactly what I'm talking about, because it was whatever his name is, Esteban, and 2 weeks ago, and then last week it was the other guy, the original guy, and it left everyone just scratching their head as to they just changed their mind. It really felt that way. So typically we try to identify a little bit of a trend here in as it pertains to the game script, which is now, again, clearly with what Vegas is saying, favors, to Doc's point, Bucky Irving. Now, so 70.5 is the magic number there for him in his combined rushing and receiving prop. Rico Dowdle, on the other hand, you're never going to believe this.
what is it?
72.5. They're almost identical.
Ain't no way.
I can't, dude. I can't
Ain't
even
no
make
way,
that
boy.
up.
Hey, yo, you know who's in my in the waiver wire right now?
Who's that?
Joshua Downs. Or Josh Downs. He's in the waiver wire right now. Every week he's done great. Last week, 19. Week before that, 14. Week before that, 12. Week before that, 22, 19, 15, 22. Like, what is he doing in the waiver wire?
What was his target share for with Richardson? Like just last week. Oh my gosh. So his snap share was 69%.
He targeted 5 times last week, caught 5 of them for 84 yards and a touchdown. Like, he targeted 5 times, caught all 5.
Remind me, isn't Pittman, something's wrong with him, right?
Yeah, Pittman Jr. is also on the waiver wire right now. He hasn't been scoring worth a man. I wouldn't pick Pittman to save my. Pittman is a waste.
Well, this is what I'm saying. You know the Lions better than anybody else. Out of the 2 corners, who scores or who does better for opposing receivers as it pertains to the Lions?
I would say Carlton Davis aside. Like, they're gonna put their best receiver on Terrion Arnold because he's a rookie. So in this Colts matchup, I see Downs being put on Arnold, and that's gonna be a battle. I see Pittman being put on I see Carlton Davis on Pittman, and I see Terrion Arnold on Joshua Downs. That's gonna be the matchups for tomorrow.
Are you worried with Anzalone being out at all?
No. I think we'll still be fine. We just need Zadarius Smith to keep pressure on the quarterback, and we'll be okay.
Is it who's replacing him? Is it Jack Campbell?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, he's a stud too. Dude, I remember the fans losing their mind, and I'm like, you people, please understand. Like, there are a handful of names, and again, especially defensively. If I'm telling you a defensive player from Iowa, that you might as well just assume I've said a tight end from Iowa, because they just don't miss.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's just a handful of guys. Again, we've seen it now with what's going on in Philly, and really that's been the biggest difference, having him in the corner and actually the slot position specifically. But so just I don't know, this what, year 2 or year 3 for him, but we used to have the other Purdue guy, but he got hurt a handful of times too, so I'm not sure if he's there anymore.
Yeah.
Or how they're going to rotate that schematically, but I just was curious your thoughts because it seems like Anzalone's more of even a vocal leader and that type of thing too.
Yeah, I'm just ready for this game to get here because I don't see the Colts posing a huge threat here.
Well,
Jonathan Taylor, maybe.
See, there's got to be there's opportunity, and that's the thing. So, looking at this, and I'm saying to myself, staring right at it, that line is the second highest.
Is it?
For the over-under. Now, again, the Lions put up 50 by themselves. I mean,
yeah, they put up 52 last game.
Like, I mean, when you're nearly a double-digit favorite, it kind of it is what it is. But here's the thing, Alec Pierce.
Yeah, what has he been doing?
He looked like the better, like a sneaky receiver. Like they needed to feature him more.
Mm-hmm.
So he played 80% of the snaps. So just for context here, Downs 69%, Pittman 87%, Pierce 80%. So he actually played more than Downs did. Had less targets with 4 than Downs. Again, and these are things you need we of course need to keep in mind. Like, who were they going against? Oh, Pittman was going against, Sauce Gardner or, that type of thing.
Yeah. The Pierce still hasn't been doing much this year.
But Pearson,
well, as far as fantasy goes,
well, right? But we're saying a matchup dependent.
Yeah, his games are very matchup dependent. But I don't see him going off like that against the Lions. We got Kirby Joseph and Brian Branch. Like, what? We got snatch and grab. We got smash and grab. You know what I mean? Like, I don't see him being able to get off like that. He's a decent receiver. He's not like no Justin Jefferson or Devontae Adams or somebody you gotta like worry about.
Well, the thing is, if the Lions, who should be able to exploit, first of all, the Lions receivers should be able to absolutely feast on the Colts secondary.
They will for sure. So will our run game.
So now we're talking garbage time, right? Mm-hmm. The game is decided. They're desperately, again, you start calling kind of soft coverages. This is where, fantasy-wise, you can steal a game this way. Because, of course, again, every check down, every 8-yard reception, they all add up. So that's where kind of the angle that I was going with the game script there. Not, they would go off. I look at Alec Pierce as somebody that could get behind those safeties that you're referring to, for the reasons you listed.
During garbage time, though. It's just those safeties probably won't even be in when all that starts happening.
Right.
They're gonna be on the side drinking water and Kool-Aid.
Good point. Absolutely.
Yeah, there ain't nothing like that. Ain't nothing going down. It ain't happening, dog. It ain't happening, man. Alexander Pierce is not about to go off. Yeah, he's gonna have a couple targets and a couple catches. I'd be more scared of Josh Downs than Pierce.
That's
because that's been the go-to lately. If you think about it, look at last week's stats. Like that's been the go-to.
I know, and that's why I don't know if I could play any of those guys. Would you be willing to put one in your lineup or no?
It depends on who I had, because with the current lineup I have now, no, I'm not putting Joshua. I was thinking about grabbing him out the waiver wire for trade value later on down the line, since we're coming up here on the end of the season. I might need somebody in a pinch. But my receivers are Cooper Kupp, Deebo Samuel, Juwan Jennings, Jacoby Myers. No, I'm not. And I got Jameson Williams. I got Waymo. So no, I'm not. Mm-mm.
Yeah, not a chance.
I think I'm gonna take out Deebo this week and then put in J-Mo, though. I will say that. I'm swapping Deebo for J-Mo. Debo's playing in Green Bay. I feel like he's going to have a tougher time than J-Mo will this week. And I got burned last week by leaving J-Mo on the bench. I'm not making that same mistake this week.
Yeah, I'm looking at that myself with him.
I left 22 points sitting on the bench last week, and I'm still salty about it. I'm not doing that this week.
And that's you've heard where I was, and thankfully I was able to be on the right side of it. But yeah, like you pointed out, lesson learned on a lot of those things. Juwan Jennings is certainly starting on my end. Let's see. Or
I was going to start him. I would have started him had I not had J-Mo. But since I got J-Mo, I had to start him. You know where I got J-Mo at?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, bro. People just don't value. They see the projected over there, and they let the projected scare them off. It's like, are you actually a fan of football, or are you a fan of the numbers? And you are a smarter numbers guy, Double J, and you also like football. So sometimes these projections don't always add up to what will be.
No, you know what? Again, that's something, not to get on my soapbox here, but I try to remind everybody, like, those numbers are simply the season total divided by the number of games.
And they just keep thinking, oh, it says J-Mo now. I don't know what it is, bro. Whenever I see people, with the projected, it don't matter. I know what kind of player this is. I know what kind of lineup we got this week. And with Ben Johnson being in his bag the way he's in his bag against teams with weaker secondaries like this and all these trick plays, J-Mo's guaranteed at least a touchdown. And I'm a touchdown dependent league. So I can get a touchdown in a few yards. That's easily 15 to 20 points right there for me. Easily.
Agreed. Yeah.
And then when it's garbage time, we got in like the Hendon Hookers and all that at the end of the game. J-Mo's still in there. Like he's one of our star players, but he's not one of the players they're not going to have in there playing when we up by 30, 40 points. He'll still be out there with the rookies or with the year two guys. He's out on the field for something. So he might sneak in a garbage time touchdown or garbage time yards or, just something. We running the clock out. We're going to hit J-Mo real quick. He's open on the side right here for this first down. You're still getting points no matter what. So projected 10 don't matter.
I completely agree. Because that was witnessed. I was actually, that came to all right. Gibby's back as well. So definitely welcome back, Gibby. And let's see here. I'm looking at this and say, what is Devontae Smith? I told you guys the soft tissue injuries, and it's driving me nuts.
That's why I told you this fantasy lineup has been hurting this year, man. All these hammies, like you said, hammies and pectorials and quads and all this old crap. Like, how are y'all not protecting yourselves? Like, what's with all these hamstring injuries? That's what I want to know.
Boy, I may have no choice but to play. I might have to play Bucky myself.
Bro, you can't go wrong with Bucky, bro. Even with White being back, Bucky's still getting 15 to 19, almost 20 points. Well, and that's while sharing the ball.
All right, so it's between these three on my end. Bucky, JSN, who, of course, you remember I'm the one who pulled him out. Mm-hmm. And then he's going against Arizona. And then Ramondre Stevenson versus at the Dolphins.
I'm going Bucky.
I mean, Bucky versus the Giants seems like
Bro, who are the Giants? What kind of run defense do they have?
you know what
It's
though. You bring up the
non-existent.
bye week. Do you think? I don't know why. Like I fear the team coming off the bye week. Like somehow they know so much more about their opponent now.
They don't. They just got a fresh pair of legs and extra time to watch film.
Good point.
That's it. You had an extra week to study film and fresh legs. They didn't go get abused last week, and now they got to play another player this week.
Right, and to Gibby's point, injuries are so bad this year, and you know that because 5+ kickers have been hurt.
Yeah, the Lions lost their kicker for the year, but it's okay because we got Jake Bates, the new golden foot of the league.
Oh my gosh!
Hey, come on now, don't sleep on Bates. I tried to tell people before the draft and before any of this even started. When he was playing for the Detroit Panthers and he was hitting them 60-something yard field goals like it was
That's
nothing.
right. You
Like it
did
was
say that.
nothing. And I was telling people, I guarantee y'all he's gonna be in a Lions jersey this season. The reason we went for it so much on fourth down last year, as quiet as it's kept, our kicker was the worst kicker in the league. Literally. From 40+ yards out, he was the worst in the league. He only made like 30-some% of his kicks from 40 yards and out. That's not good. So if I'm Dan Campbell, yes, I'm going for it on fourth down. Then look, this year falls around, and guess what I see? Remember what I said? Jake Bates. Now look who we got. Jake Bates. And I told you, I guarantee we still go for it on fourth, but not as often as we used to. Why? Because we have a kicker that can hit those 40, 50, almost 60. Hey, he was hitting 60s in the UFL like it was nothing. So we got us a 60-yard field goal kicker. You really think we're going to keep going for it on fourth down like that? No.
Right.
And look how that's fared out for us. It's been a lot of situations this year that we've been placed in. We had to rely on our kicker. If we had Bagley as our kicker, we lose those games. Flat out. We lose those. But now that we have a kicker, we can win by a walk-off field goal. You know what I mean? We don't have to go for it on fourth so much. We don't have to risk getting into Michael Badgley's his field goal. We don't have to get him in the field goal range anymore. We have a kicker whose leg is almost limitless. Like we can risk kicking over going for it on fourth and turning it over on downs. Like we're comfortable now.
So I'm definitely playing JSN no matter what. So check this out when I was digging a little bit deeper. So since week 7, Arizona has the 11th highest too high safety look, right?
Mm-hmm.
JSN is the weapon of choice in that look. He gets 23% of the target share, and he's the first read 25% of the time, and they're allowing the 7th most fantasy points. Oh, this is great. This is great.
Starting JSN, that wouldn't be bad. I don't have JSN anymore.
Because I brought up Ramondre, he's not a chance. Not a chance. I'll it is what it is. It's just not a good matchup as it pertains to him versus Miami.
Yeah, Miami, they got a nice defense down there in Miami, so I'm not risking that either.
No. I can go ahead and drop Njoku.
I wouldn't drop. I got him on the bench this week. I didn't start him.
No, yeah, I switched him out for McBride.
I started Goddard this week.
Against where are they playing? Let's see. Against the Rams. Why do I feel like that works? That actually works really well. I do know that works well. Not as good as the second receiver, but let's see. Petition for the Lions Bills in the Super Bowl or the Lions Chiefs to kick.
See, I want to see the Lions in Baltimore or the Lions in the Bills. I'm tired of Kermit the Frog going to the Super Bowl. I'm ready for a fresh pair of teams. It's always Kansas City versus somebody. I'm ready for a fresh set of teams.
So I heard that prediction earlier. Well, I know you would prefer not prefer. I'm sure you'd be rooting for the Lions, but who do you think? What's the head versus heart here?
Honestly, I see it going the way he said, the Lions versus Kansas City in the Super Bowl. Because I honestly don't see nobody stopping the Lions in the NFC right now other than the Eagles. And if it is the Eagles, it'll be Eagles in Kansas City. Or Eagles, or not Eagles, or the Lions and the Bills. I can see the Lions and the Bills. That's the Super Bowl I would like to see. Super Bowl I would like to see. But I'm not going to lie to you, though. The one I want to see the most is Baltimore versus Detroit. That's what I want to see the most. That would make my heart happy. that would be everything I needed and wanted right there. Like he would.
Yeah, he's been going off.
Yeah, he has. See what I'm saying about those projections? You can't go off projections, and I feel like that's why I get a lot of players I get off out the waiver wire because people really are just so projection dependent. They get lost in their ways. Like you get somebody that say projected 15, 16 points and they only get like 10 or 11. But then you have somebody like J-Mo who last week was only projected 10 points and got 22.9. Like, come on now. You can't fall for the projections. You have to actually like know the player and the team that they're going against. Honestly.
Yeah, I completely agree. Like, I always say, Givey especially has heard me say this more than once. You can lose on Thursday through Saturday, win on Sunday and Monday. Yep. When it's all said and done.
Yeah.
I will let the opponent kind of psych themselves out because a lot of these guys are going exactly off of that, and kind of to Doc's point, and in also to mine a little earlier about those projections being just simply divided. That's why similarly with draft grades, it's really just an algorithm. From no one's exactly sure how this year is going to go, right? It could have said you had an A draft grade, and then to Givey's point, the half your team is out, and like, is it still an A? No. And so, yeah, gut over projections. Exactly. Absolutely. That's why we'll win.
Mm-hmm. That's how I do it. I follow my gut. I'm not looking at no projections. Like, I'm not going to lie. When I first started playing fantasy, I fell for that trick, looking at projections. But then once I actually started playing fantasy, like actually playing for myself and not projections, like played it the way I wanted to, like actually started looking at waiver wire and reading the stats and injury reports and all of that. That's when I got better at it. I was like, these projections don't mean jack spit, because you can have somebody coming back off an injury and it'll say they projected to get 24 points, but it's like they're coming back off an injury. They're not about to do nothing, especially if they've been limited practice all week. Like that 20 projected points turns into 10 or 15 because he's still nursing that hamstring he's coming back from, or the knee still bother him, or his ankle is still this, or that he's feeling that limited practice throughout the week.
Yeah.
That's what that is.
Well, and there's a lot of those happening right now, too.
Mm-hmm.
Let alone, forget just matchups and scheme. To your point, veterans are getting the day off. That's another thing. Throw out the part of the injury report now. If they've played in the league more than 4 years, like just don't even look at it for them, and unless it legitimate is something that you already kind of knew about. If it's just like they went off on Sunday and now they just missed practice on Tuesday or Wednesday, don't panic.
No, but if it's limited practice all week, limited on Friday, especially Friday, like that tells me everything I need to know. If it's limited Friday, because Saturday number walkthrough. So if you limited Friday and a full participant on Saturday, I'm not trusting you. That just shows me. So you missed when he was hitting with pads, and you showed up today with just shorts and shoulder pads. You came on a 2-hand touch day. We're not playing 2-hand touch Sunday, so no, I'm not starting. Like what?
Hey, you know
You
what's
you ain't been hit all week.
it's crazy that you say that because there's legit truth to this. That I remember a conversation at Barbershop Jay had with Herm Arvey, who did a drop. We'll get to that one for us. Again, he the former, now Hall of Famer with Grambling. He was enshrined this year. So congratulations to Herm, of course. And he said that at the Browns training camp, he used to see these dudes that were flying. And to your point, Doc, they were in shorts. And then it'd be full pads. And he's like, where did that guy go that was flying? They'd never seen him again. It was completely different when they could get hit.
They're cool on 2-hand touch mode.
Flag football. 38% chance to win.
They're cool on 2-hand touch mode. They all straight with it.
Who are you playing against, Givy? That's something we did with Austin. I don't know. We haven't. Hopefully, Austin's having a good Saturday. But Austin owned his league. Oh, did you, Doc? Were you here for that? Did you see all of his? Dude, I'm telling you right now, I've never felt. Yeah, I never felt like anybody rivaled your dominance in just depth. And
that was last week. I told him, I said, I need to be in your league.
Yeah, no way that's right.
Traded. He traded all. I'm like, how'd you get all these people from trades? Like he had Waddle, and I'm like, how are you dumb enough to trade all these people? Like, yeah, I need to be in his league because me and him would tear that up. Like I said, we have us a final 2 deal. We just trade with each other because everybody else gonna pick Rudy Poops. So
right.
It's cool. Like, yeah, that was a roster I was actually scared of. Like, oof. I'd hate to play you this week. I really would. It's only one guy right now that I would hate to see coming. And it's a guy in my league right now. He's the number 1 right now. I don't know how. He's 9-2 right now, actually. But it took him all season to lose. Like, bro, when I say he was whooping people, he was winning by 50, 60 points, 70 points every game. Like, he never had no close games. I feared that man. Like, I don't want to see him. I don't. I really don't. But now that I got my roster together through the waiver wire and everything, I think I'm kind of ready for him now. But he has a squad, bro. But if you look at his roster, it's not like a bunch of big name people, which is why I was confused. Like, how are you 9-2 with? Like I said, you got a couple big name people, but other people are just like backups or like little fill-in people who you would grab off the waiver wire just because somebody's on a bye week. But these are people that are actually producing every single week, and it's like, what made you even think to pick him up in the first place?
Right.
Like, something I don't. Like, who you got an insider? Like, who's your insider? I need to know something.
So Givy is pointing out that he hates getting iced in Madden. Completely agree. And then before we get to who Givy's going against, we'll take a quick break and then be back in just a moment. Stay tuned.
It's K Cunningham, and you watching the Shop Report. I'm Homie Diallo, and you watching the Shop Report.
My name's Chris Murray, and you're watching the Shop Report.
You're Jay Knight, you're watching the Shop Report.
It's Max McKee, you're dropping in on the Shop Report.
Barbershop Jay, Quentin Hines, Super Bowl champion. I'm ready. Let's do it. I'm on.
Hi, I'm Mars Man, works at Mercury Stadium, and you're watching the Shock Report.
Hey, I'm Billy Butler, and thank you for watching the Shop Report. Hey guys, I'm Les Norman, former Kansas City Royal, and you're watching the Shop Report.
Commander Brown, Detroit Rivers Mountain Training, and I'm watching the Shop Report.
Hey, this is Doug Flynn of the New York Mets. Well, a few other teams, of course, too. And you're watching the Shop Report.
I'm Matt Ramos, and you're watching the Shop Report.
How you doing? I'm Rajay Davis, and you're watching the Shop Report.
How you doing? This is Nelson Figueroa, former Major League pitcher with a lot of teams. You're about to listen to the Shop Report.
Hey, this is Howard Johnson. You're watching The Shop Report.
Hi, I'm Heath Bell from the New York Mets, and you're listening to The Shop Report podcast. Yeah!
Hey, I'm Josh Tolley, former catcher of the New York Mets, and you're watching The Shop Report.
This is Edgardo Alfonso for the Mets, and you're listening to Shop Report.
Hey, this is Doc Gooden, and you're watching The Shop Report.
Hello, this is Mike Hampton, and you're watching Shop Report.
This is Herman Harvey, former NFL offensive lineman with the Cleveland Browns and the Baltimore Ravens, and you're listening to The Shop Report.
All right, just like that, we are back, and Givy is going against Mahomie Amon-Ra. So Amon-Ra, average matchup. We talked about him earlier.
Bro, Amon-Ra about to go off tomorrow.
I'm trying to help him here.
Hey, look here. We trying to help, but also we going to be real with you and let you know you're going to struggle tomorrow. You got Patrick Mahomes versus Kansas City. Not Kansas City, but versus Carolina. Amon-Ra versus the Colts. Puka Nacua, who goes off every week. Joe Mixon. Like, hey, look here. I want to be as optimistic as I can, but this looks like an L from my perspective.
No, so, okay.
He got Zay Flowers, too? Like, come on, bro. It's gonna be I'm not saying he gonna lose, but depending on who you got, my boy, you gonna have a hard time
this
tomorrow.
is why he was asking about trying to nail these that flex, because it may be a closer game. I'm thinking though with Mahomes that he may not like what Giving needs to make his best case scenario here is Mahomes hands it off when it comes to scoring.
Which he's not. Mahomes is throwing that. Carolina secondary is horrible, bro.
They're awful everywhere.
I'm slinging that John, bro.
But if he doesn't get 20 plus to this week, that's the thing. Like he's only gone over 20 fantasy points against, and again, barely against New Orleans, Tampa, of course, which everybody does, and the Raiders. So like a handful of like the worst teams in the league. And now I just literally walked into a wall by saying that. Because he's going against arguably the worst possible
they're the
team.
worst team. They're the worst defense in the league, bro. He's going off tomorrow.
Exactly.
You can't catch an L yet. But when Sunday start, it's gonna be rough. I'm not saying he's gonna lose. I'm trying to be optimistic. I'm not saying you're gonna lose, my brother. But looking at who you got to go against and who those players are playing against, like the teams they're playing against, is not looking good.
I feel like Mixon can be limited. I mean,
Mixon might be limited, but I don't know about Pat. I don't know about Zay or Aubrey or Jones or Puka or Amon. Like he gonna have a tough time tomorrow. Like I said, he has a squad as well, so I'm hoping his squad goes off too. I'm not just saying he's gonna flat out get beat on. But this is one of those games where it might come down to your flex, and you might either win by a few or lose by a few. It's going to be a close game. You got to throw the lose by a few in there. You got to be real. I'm not here to sell false hopes.
Get Golly back in here.
I'm not here to sell false hopes.
I will tell you this. I'm looking at who he's going against here and saying – there is a strong case that can be made to say that these individuals, despite being great, can actually, because in many cases where they have too favorable of a matchup, that they actually can underachieve, and because they're limited because they don't have to.
And start whooping butt so bad they get pulled out early.
Right, and it literally becomes, oh my gosh, who is the backup in Kansas City? It used to be Chad Henne forever.
I don't know who it is. No.
I guess we're gonna find out.
Mm-hmm.
But again, similarly, I could see that. Look, in a half. Thank goodness it's a half-point PPR, because to Doc's point, I really don't see Amon-Ra having a bad game.
Nah, I don't
at all. Puka, unfortunately, like even I'm not even going against him, and I just I cringe every time I hear, because for one reason or the other, they insist on just throwing the ball to him, and then thankfully they flipped in the second half and didn't target him. I'm wondering, dude, if he actually was more hurt, and that's the thing. I think he's on the fringe of being done, but they're going for it, right? We talked about this last week, and it hasn't changed with how tight the NFC West is. And I know that's being out here now. I'm officially in Givey's backyard. Just knowing the Rams have a chance, and a lot of people have written them off, and it actually is a solid matchup for them on that end. So this is one of those times where you hope that what actually occurs in the game script. Matter of fact, I'm going to go a little. I'm going to do a little bit. I'm going to go a little bit deeper and see what Vegas thinks on that side. Bear with.
Go ahead, dig a little deeper.
Let's see.
Yeah, I'm wishing you best of luck, Gibby. I actually want you to win. I want everybody that watches the show and asks for advice to win, honestly, because that's what we're here for. So I want you to win, bro. I would just be nervous going up against a team like that. That's all. But my league is touchdown dependent. Yours isn't. So those odds might be better in your favor than they would be in mine.
So check this out. At a half-point PPR, they actually are favoring both. So both Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua are each set at 6.5 receptions, but the over for Puka is at a plus 120 versus minus 105 for Cooper Kupp. So there's something they noticed as well. And then as far as the actual receiving yards prop, Puka's at 70.5. So again, let's just say hypothetically he's at 70-6, you're talking if we keep him out of the end zone, then I mean even at a full point PPR, you're talking about 13 points. So now you cut those 6.5 to 3. You're talking about a 10-point game, which again that could be of value. Carolina winning.
Nah,
I don't know if that would be a good thing, though.
It would be a good thing if Carolina won. That just means my Lions will be nice with the best record in the league and the best record in the NFC. We sitting pretty at number 1. I need Carolina to win too, but I also need Patrick Mahomes to go off. So that's what I need.
Gibby, I don't necessarily disagree with you either. There's certain teams that just felt like, this is where they're going to turn it on. Almost like the Bengals comes to mind on the AFC side, but the Niners seem to kind of be their NFC equivalent.
The Niners are struggling, and so are the Bengals. But we know why the Niners are struggling. Nobody's healthy. Literally, the Niners cannot stay healthy.
It's always somebody else. I don't even know if Kittle's playing now. He may be back, but for how long? These guys are literally week to week.
They dropping like flies. You see what I'm saying?
But
I don't think the Niners win just based off just how beaten and battered that team is. That's what I see.
Yeah, Gibby, I agree with you. I was getting roasted for the first 8 weeks of the season with my Kyler Murray take. obviously having shares of JSN and then, of course, Cooper Kupp.
He came back.
Part of me was under using the kind of the psychology of they're going to be trailing in these games to Doc, kind of what I laid out potentially with the Colts receivers for tomorrow. And literally, that was like my season strategy with those guys.
Be careful which receiver you start. That's all I'm. Be careful. I like Joshua Downs though. I'd start him for sure. Him versus Terrion Arnold will be a great matchup that I see him winning. Just based on the simple fact that Terrion is too handsy. He tries to grab before he actually tries to turn and run with you.
See, Gibby, this is why we're friends. I do too. There's there's no denying that. Downs isn't hurt. There's no
Downs is not hurt. He's good to go. I'm thinking about adding him. I don't know. I'm thinking about taking him out the waiver wire, though, to be honest with you.
You know what? I would just pay attention tomorrow, and that'll answer it. Between those three, because either Pierce is going to keep eating into the snap share, or Downs. Somebody was sauced essentially with Gardner last week with the Jets.
Yeah. All I know is I'm scared about Terry Daniels. I don't know. What you think, Double J?
I'm putting last week into the dumpster because I knew it was a terrible matchup because of Darius Slay being back, and then obviously the additional corner. Everything about that said that was not a good matchup for him. So just we're gonna throw that one into the fire and not look back. But here's the thing. If you'd watched Monday night, the very first play of the game, Nico Collins scored, even though they called it. Look, every person that bet the over on Nico Collins' prop, gagged on more than once. Mm-hmm. And then they really had to pound sand, because they robbed him twice. But that should mean Terry McLaurin goes off.
Yeah, Terry McLaurin will go off for sure. He's still going to get production. I know your receivers suck right now, but you still not – McLaurin's not bad. That's not a bad pick.
No, we're one and the same with the receiver thing.
Yeah.
I mean, look, who am I? If I had the choice draft night, and I was talking to a friend of the show late, like we're in like the 14th round, and JSN was still there, and it was between him and Lockett. And the guy, and he was saying, I'm thinking Lockett, and I'm like, I'm thinking they're gonna, again, kind of similarly, like they're moving on in a sense, and either using him in the slot or just that type of thing. So like in thinking game script too, again throughout the season, I was thinking they were going to be trailing in games, so went that direction. And it saved me. Juwan Jennings, it was, again, we were faced with another choice throughout the season, which was between him and Ricky Pearsall. I told everybody I love number 2 receivers anyway, but once Ayuk went down, and it was even better. Oh, yeah. So Pearsall being the slot receiver, like, look, if you're only getting 20%, 30% of the snap share, how can you possibly, like, you would have to do so much, and it just doesn't, analytically, it doesn't add up. There's only so many targets you can get because you're only out there a third of the time. And it's not to say, like, again, he could easily smash the over on a 20-yard, receiving prop, but Here we go. And he's saying Thanksgiving. Yeah, Doc, just quickly to kind of wrap this up here tonight.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving next week. You have the Cowboys who have historically had to hold it down, and now the Lions have, thankfully, provided some balance into our games.
Yeah, the Lions. It's gonna be. I'm ready for tomorrow. We play the Bears on Thanksgiving. That should be an easy dub.
It should. It's just. Do you remember what was it last year?
We lost to Green Bay last year on Thanksgiving. Like, it was horrible. Like, I don't know how we lost, but we beat them the first time we met, then lost Thanksgiving. Same with the Bears. We beat them the first time we lost, and lost the second matchup.
Quentin Johnson. I'm thinking about it. He's up to the 82%, 83 and 82 the last 2 weeks. Clearly, because they switched the role between him and Josh Palmer. Yes. And you know what? Not only that, dude, you may want to actually play him.
Is Joshua Downs available for you? What receivers do you have in your waiver wire? That's what I want.
That's a good point too.
You got to look at
Baltimore gets torched, dude. Like, they give up points. But to Gibby's point, he only had 2 against a good. I keep telling everybody, don't let Tennessee scare you guys when you think, oh, they're so bad. They are offensively. Defensively, they really aren't that bad. You got to understand, they basically handed Minnesota the win.
I gave up 40-something points to the Lions, bro.
Oh, dude, how much of that was really on the offense or on the defense itself? Like, the offense was giving you guys the ball at like the goal line, or at least in the red zone. It was like 21-0 in like 10 minutes.
10 seconds. Like, it didn't matter.
Downs.
Hey, there you go.
I like grab Johnson. Grab Johnson. I don't know.
Quentin Johnson over Alec Pierce?
I'm looking at.
You serious right now?
Dude, 8 targets last week. And he's going against Baltimore.
Too. Yeah.
I know. That's another good point.
Yeah, he's going against the Lions too. So,
Baltimore gets torched.
I don't know. I think he might be hit going with Quentin Johnson.
It's not about the body of work. Remember, he was hurt for a little bit, but it was Josh Palmer that was in the number 2 spot. So he wasn't getting entirely what he was truly capable of. Plus, they weren't really airing it out. You got to remember, some of those early games were, Pittsburgh, again, good defensively. Denver, good defensively. Kansas City, not terrible defensively. Cleveland, not terrible defensively. And Tennessee, not terrible defensively. So now you're putting them against teams like Cincinnati, terrible defensively. Baltimore, also bad. Actually, Baltimore, I think, might be worse than Carolina, or right up there, which is...
you know what? I'm looking at Quentin Johnson's stats, too. And he's not a bad pickup. He's not on my waiver wire. And the dude who has him...
Somebody has him?
Yeah, they're actually starting him.
Are you serious?
Yeah. But looking at his stat line, bro, he might be worth the pickup.
I don't know if I would play him over.
Those 3 bad games he had was 6, 2, and 5. But the rest of them, 22, 12, 22, 10, 12.8. So, I mean, if you're just picking him up for like an extra receiver because you have none, I'm taking him. Yeah, pick up Johnston. That sounds like the best receiver you got in the waiver wire. It's either him or Pierce. And Pierce not about to do nothing against the Lions. So I'd go Johnston.
See, he's already projected on the over of 3.5 receptions. So we're already saying, 4 on that end. And then yards are now at 47. So if he gets, we'll say he goes over that number, so we'll call it 50, and you add a touchdown, he's netting you close to 15, but it depends who he would be starting him over. That's the only concern that I have there.
Well, he said he needed a receiver.
Mm.
So if he needed a receiver, he probably ain't got nobody to start. Keon Coleman, he coming back from injury. He don't know who to draft for Johnson. Who you got on your bench? I mean, you can always drop somebody for this week and then pick them right back up. That's what I do. I'll wait till after Monday, go right back to the waiver wire, grab who I dropped last week and trade them back out for who I just dropped them for. Just don't drop nobody that's like a real eye opener.
So what I would say, honestly, between the two. So check this out, Gibby. And I'm going to let you decide on this part of it. Do you believe that Keon Coleman can do exactly what JSN did which, if you remember, Geno was threading the needle against San Francisco? Like, I mean, we're talking millimeters from JSN actually having a pretty bad game instead of going like 5 for 5 or 10 for 10, whatever it was ridiculous. But who you benching there? That's his bench.
That's his bench. He got ETN.
Oof.
Honestly, I would swap out Dowdle for Johnston this week. And then literally, soon as Tuesday hit, hop right back in their waiver wire and grab Dowdle back if you use them like that. But if you don't, they ride. Johnston might show out for you again next week. Might not be a bad pickup.
See, I don't like DJ Moore against the Vikings. So
but I'm not going to drop him in the waiver wire. Somebody might see that and pick him up.
Yeah. No way. Well, here's the only other negative caveat is that Dowdle's matchup is probably the most favorable for him now, but it won't be moving forward. So if you drop him and then you say, oh, wow, he had like 13 or 14, like I don't. This is one of those. It's like, I told you guys I shouldn't have, I should have played him or something. But the following weeks, are going to be quite poor.
I don't know, man. It's gonna be interesting. I just don't know who to tell him to drop. Like I said, he got a good bench. But Dowdle will probably be the person I dropped. Because he's the one that you have a higher chance at picking back up out of the waiver wire because nobody's checking for him, let's be real.
Right. Well, not yet, exactly.
Not yet, but, I mean, come on now. If he fucking waits till Tuesday and then picks him back up, it's like you never lost him at all. So
let's see. I'm looking.
That's if he wants him back.
Yeah, Rico Dowdle's rest of season and playoffs isn't that bad. That's why I'm saying, like, some of these guys, that would have been. But that, I will say this. This is what sucks because I feel like, Doc, it's really going to come down to those two guys. The other guy he was talking about a little earlier with Downs, or Keon rather. With Coleman, I don't think he's going to have a good game. A, it's his first one back, and B, just how they were like the windows that JSN was catching the ball in, no, most people wouldn't have been able to do that. I don't see Keon Coleman doing that. So basically, he's going to be able to live for another day with it. Like, basically, you can end up dropping Johnson if he wants to after this week and just capitalize on the matchup versus Baltimore. Or just roll Rico out there because even though the team's terrible, he's going to be the starter. And there's really nobody else there that can have any kind of say with that. And that's sometimes what I lean on a little bit more. So you could take one more week to wait on Quentin Johnson if you wanted to. But at that point, that's the third time seeing is believing. Or just ultimately roll out with the steady hand that's going to at least attempt to get the ball. It's a favorable matchup for Rico Dowdle. I'm not going to deny that. So does he find his way into the end zone, bail you out at 13 or 14? He's not going to lose you the game, but he may help with someone else carrying some of the load. And that's what I mean with some of the other guys he's been talking about that he's going against. If they get limited, something like this, that flex spot can help. Like if the rest of his guys do what they're supposed to do,
yeah.
If this one spot just holds it down, he wins.
Yeah, but he needs a receiver. I just want to know who's starting.
But in a half-point PPR, Rico Dowdle had like at least 3 catches last week on Monday night, I thought. That's what I'm trying to see. Like they completely abandoned Zeke, and then I wanted to see in the red zone. So, he had 5 targets receiving. He only caught 2 of them, but so that's only 1 extra point. But he can't run the ball for jack. But
them yak yards are horrible.
Oh, yeah. I say give me Quentin Johnson and a touchdown. Who you got, Doc? And we'll leave it at that.
I'm taking Quentin Johnston.
Yeah.
I got to. His receivers are CD, Terry, DJ.
Oh, we forgot about Bucky. Yeah, no to DJ Moore. Sit him. That terrible matchup for DJ Moore. I'm good on that. No way. The way that they blitz, he may get some east-west passes, but if he doesn't do much with those, absolutely not. He's going to have a terrible game.
Yeah, I'm taking. Yeah, forgot about Bucky. But yeah, throw Bucky in that flex.
Yep, and we'll call it a day. Doc, any final thoughts from you on the upcoming match day for Week 12?
One pride, go Lions. Good luck to everybody else out there on their fantasy league. Start Bucky. That's my word for this week. Start Bucky.
Yeah, no disagreements here. Again, monitor Quentin Johnson for sure. And then, of course, we'll touch base with everybody on I'll be back on Monday, back at the crib, as they say, and talking some WWE, but, of course, breaking down what happened in the fantasy world. And then, of course, Barbershop Jay is back on Wednesday. Here we go. 2 weeks with Doc, 2 weeks with Bucky. Here we go.
Yeah, we winning. I'll be back again next Saturday. I'm on third shift now, so I can't really do through the week. But Saturdays, I'm good. I'll be here next Saturday.
Exactly. So with that being said, look, I'm definitely rooting for you guys, and I'll be watching this closely as soon as I get off that plane. So again, we'll see you on Monday, and good luck to everybody in their fantasy weeks tomorrow.
I'll back at you, boy.
Yes, sir.